Well, hello everyone. I thought I would give you a little demo of a coil machine that I'm building. This is a view of all the parts here. The reason why I'm building this coil machine is to show from start to finish the coil machine, the coil that it's being wrapped, and then the testing of that coil. And the coil has been designed on the Vesper coil calculator to show the ultimate readings and everything of the coil. So to show from start to finish how the coil is completely made. Let's go through it step by step. First of all, this right here is a windshield wiper motor that I've outfitted with a piece of threaded PVC pipe that's going to accept the coil later. I'll show you that part. It's going to get mounted here. The holes that are cut here, one is for a switch, the other is for a potentiometer control system that regulates the power going to the motor to regulate the speed. And the regulator circuit is this right here that I've built. It's kind of crude, but it does do the job. And this is going to get fixed to this part here, and it'll go on the back eventually, and I'll show you that. This is the battery that's going to power the unit, so it's cordless basically in essence, kind of a big cordless device. A few cable connectors, the potentiometer you can see here, a couple of lead wires. These are the 3 connection bolts that's going to attach the windshield wiper motor to the unit. I've talked about using a windshield wiper motor before, and I'll explain why in just a few minutes as soon as we get further along into this. The on-off switch, a couple of screws, some washers, various other screwdrivers and bits, a couple of straight edges, a square, a marking pen, and of course all of our friends, the electrical tape. So a couple of different spools of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of this set together, and then I will be right back with you. Okay, so we're going to take the windshield wiper motor and place it in the back here. And you'll notice the 3 screw holes here. And we're going to take our bolts and run those through and attach the windshield wiper motor to the actual brace here. Okay. So we've just tightened up the 3 screws here to hold our windshield wiper motor firmly in place, and I will turn this around slightly so that you can see the back side here. I'm going to tip it up so you can see this part. Okay, so it's attached through the 3 main posts that are regularly used in the automobile to attach it to the housing. The reason why I like to use a windshield wiper motor is they're a low RPM, which you're not going to be spinning coils very fast, and they are impeccably strong. They have a lot of torque. You're never going to be able to stop this from turning, and you're going to have a lot of torque come off of it, and they're relatively quiet. So you don't have to worry about a large grinding, winding motor. Okay, so our next step is going to be to attach our switch, which is going to be our on-off switch, to our actual motor unit. And I've done that through the use of drilling a hole here in our upright, and our switch is going to be mounted thusly. One half of our switch is going to go to our control mechanism, and the other half of our switch is going to go to our battery. Okay, so we have our switch firmly in place, flush with our top unit, and it's put down. Wires are running out the bottom of it, and again, one half is going to go to our control unit, and the other half is going to go to our positive side on our battery. Now, on our motor unit, you're going to notice that there's some different wires. These 3 wires right here, you don't have to worry about. These 3 wires are what tells the windshield wiper to stop and restart and things like that. That's a control mechanism that's inside here. We don't need to worry about those. So that's these 2 wires here that are coming out of there. We don't need to worry about these 2 wires. So we can put those out of our mind. The only 2 wires that we're concerned about are the 2 wires that actually turn the motor on and off. And those 2 wires are going to be the red, which is going to be positive, and the black is going to be the negative that runs into the control mechanism. We don't have to worry about that. So the only thing we have to worry about is the green wire that's coming off, and that's going to be our power wire. Now, as far as speeds go, the motor does have a couple of different speeds. If you tie 2 wires together, then it'll increase the speed. One wire is the slow speed, And we want the slow speed, and then we're going to use our motor controller to slow that down even further. So let's go with the slow speed. Okay, so what I've done is I've cut off our other two wires. Those are going to get wrapped with some electrical tape and isolated and back wound into our wiring harness. And our positive and our negative are going to get attached to our control unit. Okay, so we've made our connections here, and we've went ahead and taped up our wiring harness. And then our next step, we've already connected our positive side of our switch, and then the other positive side here will go to our battery, and that comes through the switch. And then we have our negative side of our circuit, which will go back to our battery. Okay, so we have our power unit mounted via 2 screws, and then all we have to do is hot glue our potentiometer into the top. So I'm just going to put just a little bit of hot glue on the tip here. And please be really careful when you're using hot glue. The temperatures can be extremely hot, especially when you're using industrial hot glues. This is an industrial hot glue gun that I'm using, and the glue actually gets hot enough that it can take your skin right off. So please be really careful. After holding it there for just a couple seconds, you can see it's rock solid, and it turns very nice up here. So we have our switch, and we have our potentiometer, and everything is set. Okay, so our last connections are set. Now what I actually do, just a little tip, I solder these in because I've had a problem with them coming out and causing loose connections, and that can cause a problem later on. So I just solder them on. We're going to connect our positive to positive and our negative to our negative on our battery. And then, of course, with our on-off switch, we can just turn that on, and you'll see she comes alive. Now, if you adjust your potentiometer, now I want you to watch the actual motor itself. Now, if I grab a hold of this, you'll notice that there's no way I can stop that. So that's why I like to use these. They have a lot of torque. And then as I adjust this, you'll actually see the motor start to slow down. And I can take it all the way down until she's just barely turning. So we can get a really accurate coil. And I can keep turning this down until it's almost just barely turning. And then it'll take it down until it actually stops. And I hope that you've enjoyed all the little bits and pieces to get to this point. As I complete it out, I will go ahead and show you the rest of that, but this will be video 1.